My name is Holly. I am a multidisciplinary artist and I have lived in the Northern Rivers for about 6 years now. I grew up in Brisbane. I lived there for 18 years. I was actually studying graphic design in the city. I was commuting about 50 minutes a day to get to my campus, and then my job that I worked in full-time as well on top of that, I was commuting 60 minutes the other way to get there. I needed a big change in my life because I felt incredibly isolated in the city, strangely enough. Actually came down here for a holiday. I had never been to the Northern Rivers. I didn't even know what Byron Bay was, and when I came down here I was just amazed by the space and the land that was available for people. I prefer it in a regional area like the Northern Rivers. I feel much more connected to myself and to the land that I live on. Both my parents' families grew up in very rural areas in New Zealand, both on farms. So it's quite interesting that growing up in the city, and I've been so drawn to a regional farming area. I don't particularly say that I have a medium. I swap between a lot of different mediums. I would say that I am a painter, I am a sculptor, I am a muralist, I screen print, I love to sew. I find it really hard to choose the one because we have all of these things available to us, and why not explore all of them? I do find that I have a fundamental knowledge of a lot of different mediums that I work with, but I'm obviously not a professional at any of them. That's why I continue to grow and learn within my practice. I can't stop making art. It's something within me that is quite obsessive. I used to fight against it and try and, push away that urge to create, but I found that working with that and working with what I find passionate is what makes me the happiest. When I grew up, it was a matter of you get a degree and you get a job and you make money, and that's what you do with your life. And I decided that I wasn't ever going to make money off art. So for the first 2 years out of high school, I studied forensic science, and as much as it was an interesting and really in-depth field of study, I was miserable every day. I would sit in lecture halls with 600 students and we would be learning physics and chemistry, and I was just scraping by. So I made the change to pursue what was sort of more nurturing to myself, which was being creative. I wake up every day and I need to use my hands. I am constantly creating something. I don't necessarily know what it is most of the time, but I probably have about 100 ideas maybe every second. I can't get all of them onto the paper, but I do my absolute best to be creating something every single day. The biggest challenge of being an artist in a regional community is to find work that coincides with what you want to do and what's actually going to put food on your table. It's hard to say that I make a income off my art solely, because I don't. There have been periods in the past few years where I have made money off my art, and I've been able to pay my rent and my groceries with the money that I've made from selling work. But it's more so that I take whatever odd job that I can get that is a creative opportunity and an opportunity that challenges myself in my field. I was recently given the opportunity from the university to actually go into high schools around the area and encourage students to study art and to sort of open their mind about, the possibilities of being an artist, because these days it's very different to what we were taught in our high school years, that you can't be an artist unless you are a painter or a sculptor. So it's actually been an incredible experience to go into high school and look at these students and be like, hey, you can do this. You know, it's not as hard as what you think it is. It doesn't matter where you are, it matters, you know, what you are putting out into the world. I think that being online is really important these days, as much as sometimes it sucks that that's your only mode of exposure. I think that, you know, being on top of your Instagram accounts and your Facebook accounts are super important, because there could be that one person in Japan who, you know, wants to see your work. And I think that it's incredible to be able to be making art for that person. I tend to create until I can't create anymore. I find that when I'm in that state, I just need to get outside. I find it really amazing that you can just get in your car and drive 5 minutes up the road and be in the middle of nowhere, or, you know, drive 20 minutes up the road and be at the beach. I think that's really amazing, to be so close to all those different environments in this area. I like that I'm not spending $400 a week on rent and not being able to afford my groceries or art supplies. I do spend most of my money on art supplies, and I don't regret that, because I know that all of the experimentation and exploration that I take within my practice now is going to both inform and benefit me in the long run. I think it's incredibly rewarding living in a regional town and being an artist. I think that it's so personal to actually get out there and meet the people that you want to work with, and meet the people that are going to support your career. They're going to put your art in their galleries and on their walls, and I think it's amazing that you can create a relationship with those people.